You guys, there are actually Democrats that can fill arenas. There are Democrats that bring in new voters. There are Democrats that have people that triple trumped that will cross over and vote for them. And last night, there was a rally for Zohran Mamdani in Queens, New York. It was an absolute fun fest. It was an absolute stand up for democracy. It is everything that the Democrats need. If only two other New Yorkers with a lot of power could have shown up. I'm talking about Hakeem Jeffries and I'm talking about Chuck Schumer, but they won't because they're beholden to the same people that elected MAGA. They have the same donors that Donald Trump has, and they didn't show up. But let me show you what they missed out on. Here is AOC doing the intro at the Zohran Mamdani rally in Queens.
And I want us all to remember and to know that the future, our future, is not determined by a despot in a house built by enslaved people. Our future will be determined not in a house built by slaves, but in a city built by freemen, in a city built by unionists and immigrants and suffragists. The bricks laid by working people, past, present, and future, the seamstresses and the unionists who paid for our rights in blood. This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island, in this country, in a vision to build the freest, toughest, and greatest city on earth, and we will not stop now, New York. It is no surprise.
Okay, she's getting really, really, really good at this. But what a great message that so many people escaped oppression and New York City welcomed them. And now you have a mayoral candidate who says, I want to be an LGBTQ plus sanctuary city. And you get white, racist, MAGA Christian Americans that are like, I'm tired of that rainbow mafia. And, I'm tired of them pushing their beliefs on me. Nobody pushes their beliefs on anybody more than evangelical Christians. From a woman who spent 51 years living in a red state, the constant recruiting of trying to get you to join their team is endless. It is toxic and it is codependent and it is oppressive. And AOC here very clearly reminds us that this is what America is. This is multiculturalism. And some people in the Democratic Party may be saying, oh, this is just happening in New York. It's not. That right there, what she said, standing up for everybody, is what the Democratic base wants Democratic leadership to do. We're sick of you taking AIPAC money. We're sick of you taking big donor money. Right now, Zohran Mamdani has 26 millionaires and billionaires that have spent millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. And with each dollar they spent, guess what's happened? He's gotten more popular and more popular and more popular. Two Democrats right now that are running for governor are struggling a little bit, like Mikey Sherrill and the person running in Virginia, because they haven't completely divorced themselves from corporate Democratic policies. And I hope they both win, but they're still playing patty cake a little bit with corporations. You see what happens when you don't play patty cake with corporations and you just are able to go out and speak the truth, unburdened, unbought, unpurchased. Did you see the excitement? Okay, now let's move along. Here is Governor Kathy Hochul, and I have to give credit to. She shows up and she is supporting Zohran Mamdani, and she is, I believe, moving where the base wants Democratic leadership to move. Here she is, and they start trolling her, the crowd. Play the clip. what the crowd is saying here is tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. And this is what people want. Zohran Mamdani has talked about raising the taxes 2% on these millionaires and billionaires, but they are so entitled and they feel like they are so much better than all other Americans that they should, number one, have sit-down meetings, number two, that they get to dictate tax policy. And at the end of the day, these people are total pieces of shit. Could you imagine having billions of dollars only to go bend the knee and go to the inauguration of an absolute racist sack of shit, Donald Trump? That you are so good at capitalism that's the thumbprint you're leaving. It's just abhorrent. But here's Hochul standing up for Zohran. And so many of these millionaires and billionaires and Republican politicians have started a lot of anti-Muslim rhetoric against him. And here is Hochul standing up for him. Play the clip.
Because that Islamophobia and bigotry and hate-filled speech, that kind of bullshit doesn't belong in New York.
Okay, I am so glad that she is standing up for him, because you have Elise Stefanik, who they are calling him a jihadist. They are the racism. They're saying that he cheers for 9/11 and all of this bullshit. And I just want to remind you, the more they do this shit and the more Bill Ackman and all these other piece of shit billionaires try to get him unelected, the more popular he gets, the more they are highlighting what pieces of shit they are, what racist, xenophobic, we're better than you because we made more money than you. And at the end of the day, what an indictment on being a billionaire, that you ascend to having all of this money only to be owned and purchased and controlled by a man with cankles and that wears a diaper, that has bruises all over his hand, that drones on and on about Hannibal Lecter and all sorts of other crazy shit, that you're still shackled to somebody. I mean, all of you sitting at home watching this, just know that you are freer and you are not beholden like these fucking billionaires are, and that you have better character, you have more integrity, you have better decency, and you're not a coward like these people. All right, now here's Zohran taking the stage. And you guys, again, this is wall-to-wall stadium in Queens for a mayoral race. This is for mayor. And if Hakeem Jeffries, I'm going to throw Cory Booker in there, and Chuck Schumer, and even the gal running in New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, if they had any sense, they all would have been there and said, we are the new Dems. We are the resistance. And they would be riding the coattails of this movement. But of course, they're not. Listen to this welcome that Mamdani gets. Play the clip. Okay. And then that's him taking the stage. And then let's hear Zohran speaking of basically democratic liberation. Play the clip.
My friends, I should like to have it said of our campaign that in it, the forces of selfishness and lust for power met their match. And I should like to have it said of our city hall that in it, these forces met their master. New York, our work has only just begun. On November 4th, we set ourselves free. Thank you.
So really that message right there, liberation, we set ourselves free, that is such an important message, because when I hear Booker, Schumer, Jeffries speak, I hear a status quo type politician that's playing patty cake with corporation, the same corporations, the same AIPAC that spent $350 million to have Kanks elected. And I know that they are just giving money to these politicians to keep them at bay, to own them. And when he talks about the Democrats being liberated, this is the message. This is the path forward. And Bernie, AOC, and Zohran are all doing something that no other Democrats can do. They can get triple Trumpers to cross over and vote for them. And why Democratic leadership and why the DNC is not hopping on those coattails and fucking riding the wave tells you everything you need to know. That the Democratic establishment is MAGA light. They have the same corporate donors. That's why when you ask them a blunt question, you get a word salad answer. And this is why Zohran Mamdani is rising. This is why AOC is rising. But a cautionary tale here. Other people on the right are taking notice to this. And I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she started an economic populist message as well. But buyer beware. She is a grifter. She is an anti-Semite. She is a racist, but she won't get called an anti-Semite as much as Zohran is. And to exemplify how bad this is getting and how dangerous the establishment thinks that Mamdani is, put up this tweet, Kylie. Representative Randy Fine has formally moved to begin the denaturalization process against Zohran Mamdani, a sitting U.S. lawmaker and New York City mayoral candidate, so he can be deported. This isn't politics anymore. It's open authoritarianism, targeting a Muslim elected official for daring to challenge power. So not only should the Democratic establishment have been at this rally because it's popular and that it could be a uniting force for the resistance, they should have been there to stand up against this, because this is what they tried to do to Obama. Zohran has an Obama-style ability to lure in crowds and to have a contagious movement. And they tried to say that Obama wasn't born here, but everybody knows he was born in Hawaii. But Zohran actually wasn't born here. And if they're going to try to do this and they open up this door, then the Democrats have to say, you try to do this with Zohran, we're going after Ted Cruz, who was born in Canada. We're deporting Ted. And here's the thing, I don't even think that many Republicans would care. But this is open authoritarianism. They see that Zohran has an Obama-style contagion. And furthermore, it really scares them that somebody brown skin, and people that live in big cities are fine with this because they live among multiculturalism. But the MAGA base thinks that a Zohran Mamdani is some outlier because they only live in these white, suburban, gated communities or rural towns, and they don't see brown-skinned people very often. So this is their worst nightmare, that white people see, like they did in Obama, oh, wow, he's just as competent and intelligent as anybody else, maybe even more so. And the same with Mamdani. And they are terrified of this movement. Terrified. And that's why they're now threatening to deport him. And shame on Jeffries and shame on Schumer for not being at that rally. Seriously, that is the most despicable Democratic leadership I've ever seen, especially considering they're both New Yorkers. It's just embarrassing for Democratic leadership. And then finally, if you think this Zohran thing is happening just in New York and you think people are waking up only in New York City, you're mistaken. Look at this clip of a wine mom at the No Kings March. Play the clip.
Whatever his name was?
Charlie Kirk, ma'am?
Yeah, him is horrible. Horrible.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
Why would you say something like that, ma'am?
Because he was horrible on the campuses, the college campuses. Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would you be glad if I would die?
Maybe. I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died.
I think we need to...
So listen up, Democratic establishment. You can either jump on board with this shit or we're coming after you in the same way that we come after MAGA. Period. Stop taking AIPAC money. Go on an I'm sorry I took AIPAC money, atonement tour, if you want to stay in power. Stop missing out on these big rallies. Hakeem and Chuck should have been front and center introducing the next mayor of New York City, but no, they wouldn't show up because they're pussies. They're pussies that are beholden to the same corporations that that helped Donald Trump get elected. And this is just an embarrassment. Kudos to Bernie, to AOC, to Zohran. And that woman out in somewhere middle America saying, fuck Charlie Kirk, he was a racist, he was a piece of shit. There are so many more of us than there are of them. And these Democrats that continue to play patty cake with corporations and lobbyists, nobody wants that. Nobody wants you. We want politicians to speak freely and look at what the benefit is. Look at what is happening in New York. And you dipshits are sitting on the sidelines, running your social media like complete dorks. It's embarrassing. Get your shit together. Hakeem and Chuck, seriously, get your shit together, because the Democratic Party is moving on. We are moving on. Maybe you call us Democrats, maybe not. But I'm telling you, all across the United States of America, people no longer want politicians that are beholden to corporations. And we want to stand up for the marginalized. We want to stand up for wages. We want to stand up for workers. We want to stand up for multiculturalism, because it is the very best thing that the United States has to offer. All right, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, engage in the algorithm, and I'll be back later with more news.